Blessed be the God, Lord Jesus, which according to his abundant mercy, again, lively hope by the on a way reserved in heaven for. So that's what God has for us. He says, who are kept by the power on the last time. I just want to read that off because I just want to give us, just bless us with a couple of verses, because what I have to do next here is, I'm never blessed by it, but I think it's something that's important. I don't really think it's going to bless you, but it might bless us in a way that, how can I say it, that lets everybody here just kind of know that we have good intentions and a proper course for the people that come to church here, and that everybody that comes here needs to know that they can be safe when they come here, especially with their children. So I'm going to go to Matthew 18 here and just start reading, I guess in verse 1 there. And Jesus said, at the same time, disciple unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Now I've heard say that this little child, somebody, different people have told me that he could have been anybody. You know, we're all children of God, so it could have been a man. But I'm going to submit to you that he calls a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. You don't just pick up a man and sit him down. We're talking about little children here. And it said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And there's other places where he talks about and makes the same mention of the kingdom of God. He said, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. I'm sure that was a bit of a surprise to them, because they'd probably been arguing about who was big and the greatest and who was going to have the most importance. And he says, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. Very simple. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones, which believe in me, it were better for him a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he were drowned in the depths of the sea. That's pretty heavy. I mean, that's quite literally. I've heard they can weigh thousands of pounds, these millstones. How they used to mill flour back in the day. They used to grind one on top of the other with a small hole in the middle where the flour would go in, and it would work its way out, and then, you know, have a big square hole in the middle, and the flour would work its way out until it was, you know, fine. They could use it for baking and so forth. I mean, I think all of us, if we even had so much as a concrete block strapped to us and were thrown out in the water, we wouldn't survive. We'd all die. And he's making it very serious here. A millstone, it would be better for a millstone to be just padlocked to your neck and you'd be cast out in the sea where it's the deepest. There'd be no chance of survival. And so basically, I just want to talk a little bit about this. There's a lot of abuse out there today, and the worst kind of abuse, I think, among children especially, is sexual abuse. It's something that I saw where I grew up in Missouri at a pretty young age. I was probably 14, 15, 16, and my dad uncovered a bunch of that among the Amish out there, and they tried to hide it, tried to cover it up. Things got real nasty, got real ugly. We had young teenagers knocking on our door at maybe midnight saying, we need help, please, you know, we've been molested, we've been whatever, can you help us? Because they heard there was one man that was going to stand up for truth. So I saw a lot and I heard a lot, and I had to grow up pretty quick. So, and it left an impression on me. It left an impression so much on me that when my kids were born and small, that I didn't wait till they were 5 years old or 10 years old to tell them about the facts of life. I mean, even before they understood it, I was telling them about their body, their right, you know, what's allowed, where you can touch, where you can't touch, you know, and who's allowed, and for what reason. And I'm sure I was a little paranoid. I was probably over the top there for a while, but I was like, I'm going to do everything I can to spare my children. Those that are prepared are normally spared. That's kind of it. You educate yourself. So I was a little bit, I'd come probably over a little strong sometimes, but that's okay. That's sexual abuse among children it's a twisted evil that the devil wants to just, smear over everybody's eyes and pretend that it's not so bad or it's not happening or it doesn't exist or it's whatever. He tries to cover it up. Don't believe that. It's real and it's in every circle, it's in every culture across this whole world. And the only thing we can do is just reach out and prepare, educate, so that our children will be protected. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows here that we're just aware of it. Like I've said before, I don't have any, idea that anything like that's going on here. But whoever comes here, families, just want you to know that we're aware of it. Put it that way, and we hope that you can be safe here, and our children will be safe as well. So, he says in verse 7, "Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell of fire." Then in verse 10 he says, "Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven." So that tells me that these children have an angel watching over them, and whatever is reflected on their face is being reflected to the Father. So, whoever you might be out there, if you're a perpetrator, if you've been molesting kids, you think you're getting away with it. You think that it's going to be hidden. Well, not only do the angels or the Father in heaven know it, but the angels know it too. They see it, and what is on their face when they look at the Father in heaven and when your hands touch that child? It's ugly. It's serious stuff. It's like I said, it's not a message that blesses me at all. I just feel it's very important. I think it's something that will, if it's not addressed, and if it's running rampant in a community, it will tear a community apart and rip it to shreds. So we want to build up a community here, not just in our church here, but we want to also just be able to reach out and be effective to the community that's around us. So I just feel that it's something that we need to, just be aware of and be open about, talk about. So that's why I decided to share this morning. So that's pretty much all I'm going to share right now. I just pray that we can all just, work together and for the common good.